Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a Cuphead tier list. This is off my own personal experience, and this is from difficulty. So S is very hard, and D is very easy. So first we have Hildeberg, and I will say, she's pretty much the first hard boss you encounter. Because she's the first, sorry, I just ran up the stairs, I'm out of breath. But she is like one of the first hard, like somewhat hard bosses. He's a wake-up call. Goopy Legrand, I could beat him any day. Baroness Bonbon. Now here's the thing. On expert mode, she's not as hard as some others. I'll put her in B, just because when you first fight her, she's a pain in the butt, but she's not that hard. Beppy the Clown is also a pain. I'll put him in A just because he's a bit harder. Mainly his last phase is a pain in the ass, honestly. Having to rotate on the Ferris wheel and stuff, it's just really difficult. And Baroness's last stage is just, you're sitting on a little thing and she's throwing, like, she's throwing heads at you. You have to see, it's hard to explain if you haven't seen the game. Captain Brineybeard, this boss is a C. You want to know why? This boss, to me, is so easy. It's the easiest boss on aisle 3 for me. Not Sally stage play. No, he is, because I don't know what makes him so easy, but like it's so easy to avoid, like all of the stuff going around. Like I'd say the only problem is the chest that he like drops on you, but other than that, everything else is a cakewalk. Ruby and Croaks, they can actually be kind of difficult. I'm gonna put them a little bit C tier. They would be in D tier, but they gave me a little bit of trouble at the beginning of the game, but after a few tries, they're generally pretty easy. They're just a pain on expert mode because you have to parry. If you don't know what that is, look it up. You have to parry things above your head to get expert, and it's kind of hard to do. Their first phase is pretty much the hardest, which is quite ironic. King Dice is a pain, a very big pain in the ass. You have to fight at least 3 mini-bosses, and if you miss-roll once, then you'll have to start over, all that. I choose to avoid certain bosses. The mini-bosses aren't that hard, but in the end, you have to fight him, which is the hardest part. He's almost as hard as the devil. But yeah, Jimmy the Great. People sleep on this boss. Some say it's really hard, some say it's pretty easy. I would put him in the same rank as Baroness. His is generally pretty easy. His first phase is not really that hard. Second phase is very easy. Third phase is extremely easy because you can destroy his third phase in like 10 seconds. And then his final phase, or fourth phase, can be the hardest. Root Pack, it's not even a question. We'll say, since they're separated, because certain boss fights have separate, different bosses that all work together. This is, I believe, Mo. They're all named after the Three Stooges, I think. Yeah. And Mo is the easiest. And I'm just going to put all the Root Pack here because they're all easy. Mo, Larry, and Curly. Curly's the onion, and Larry's the carrot. Now we have the Phantom Express. Now they are very different in their own ways. Let's start off with the conductor. I forgot his name, but he is... Oof. Yep. He's generally pretty difficult to deal with if you don't know what you're doing. The most annoying thing is just like the pumpkins that fly by, but he can go C. The train at the end is just a D. It's so easy to beat. You just need the chaser. It's it. Grimmastic. So many people overrate this boss. This boss is not hard, people. All you need is the roundabout and the lobber to beat him. It is so easy. His second phase is so easy for me. He's just such an easy, overrated boss. I will literally put him in C tier. He's just too easy for me. I don't know, that's just me. Rumor Honeybottoms. Rumor Honeybottoms is such a pain. Because her whole stage is platforming. Way harder than Grim Matchstick. Where you literally have to platform the whole time. And then she comes under the stage and on the side. It's just entirely platforming. It's such a pain. I hate it so much. Calamaria is also an A. She can be easy, but her final phases are really annoying because a lot of it's RNG and luck, and that's really a pain for expert mode, you know. Dr. Call's Robot. Let me tell you something. When I fought Dr. Call's Robot on my PC, my Mac, it took me an hour and a half to beat him. I think his first phase is not only annoying, but his second phase for me is pretty easy, generally, if you just use the bombs. But the third phase is really bullet hell. It's the definition of bullet hell. This boss is very hard. I beat it in 7 tries when I played on the Switch version. That's just me. But there is no denying that this boss is just... oh my god. I hate it so much. I was lucky that I beat it in 7 tries. The devil is an S. It's so easy. If people who see the devil and think it's not hard at all, the ending parts with the platforming are so hard. You don't even know. There's like these fat little things shooting stuff at you, and there's things dropping on you, and you have one little tiny platform. It's just so difficult. And there's so much happening at once. You have tiny little cracks to jump through. Cagney Carnation's not hard at all for me. I'll put him in C. Well, he's easier than that, yeah. If you practice him enough, then he's easy. The Phantom Express, this guy is kind of hard. I don't know, he kind of annoys me, especially with, like, the pumpkins. The Blaze Brothers are so easy. You just need a chaser to beat them. Sally Stage Play, when I first fought against Sally, she took me the most 10 minutes. When I played on the Switch, she took me like an hour to beat, which is so ridiculous, but honestly, she was kind of difficult. She's a little break from some bosses. I just think the baby phase is the hardest phase, if you know what I mean. Like, none of her phases are necessarily hard. I'm going to put it down here, because all of her phases are pretty much cakewalks, except for the baby phase. Wally Warbles. People sleep on this boss so much. You don't even know how difficult this boss was for me. When I was playing on my Mac, this boss wasn't so hard, but I was pretty lucky that time because it hit me with the truth on Nintendo Switch. This boss is so difficult. The first phase, once you get it written down, pretty easy. Second phase, you know, once you get it written down, pretty easy. Third phase, written down or not, it's so difficult. It's just so difficult for me. And I especially can't stand how long this boss is. It takes like 3 minutes to beat this boss. Werner Werman, again, people sleep on the boss, but some people find it really easy. I struggled a bit with the second phase, but I think it's a fun boss. So, yeah, I think Grim Matchstick is such an overrated boss. I can beat him in like 3 tries, the most. So, he's just such an overrated boss. Wally Warbles just slept on way too much. He is definitely a difficult boss. But yeah.